Are you just getting started or are you just getting by? Do you find that your life is stalled and bored a little bit, or are you excited and encouraged and looking forward to the second half of your life? Hi, I'm Joe, and I am now in the second part of my life. I went through a transition time about 6 or 7 years ago. It wasn't a midlife crisis, but it was a time of evaluating my life. I began to look at my life in the past, but also think about my life in the future. What did I want to accomplish? What kind of vision did I have for the future? What were the things that I wanted to do and to make a difference in people's lives? I began to evaluate my life and think about my life. This wasn't a midlife crisis. This was a time for me to examine not only the things that I had done in the past, but what I wanted my future to look like. Did I want to thrive and enjoy life and continue to grow and develop? Or did I just want to tread water and get by with each day in my life? It was some years ago when I decided to run a half marathon. It took a lot of training, a lot of hours to run, and I finally got the race day. It was in San Diego, the San Diego Half Marathon. And I felt pretty good, and I got in the race and I started running. And about mile 6 or about mile 7, I started to hit that wall. And all these things went through my mind. Was I going to continue to run? Was it time for me to walk? I didn't need to finish the whole race running. I could walk for a while. I went through a lot of mental struggles in there and finally got to the place where I continued to run and I pushed myself past that tendency that I had to walk. Now I realized after that marathon and I got to the stage of life that I had to make the same decision. Was I going to continue to run in this life? Was I going to continue to put effort into life, into the way that I impacted people and the things that I learned and my physical health and my relationships and every part of my life? Or was I going to start walking, taking it easy, beginning to retire and slow down in areas and just kind of coast for a while? I realized that I could walk in areas of my own life. In the way that I spent my free time, was I going to continue to grow as an individual in my relationship with my wife? A lot of times at this point in life, couples just kind of coast. They're used to each other. They enjoy their time together, but they're not growing in that love relationship and that affection for each other. Was I going to do that in my life during this time? Or was I going to grow? Or was I going to kind of coast and kind of just exist with my wife? I thought about my career. What was my career? What did I want to do with my career? I thought about it in terms of my goals and my vision for the future. What were the things that I really wanted to accomplish? Did I have a vision for the future, things that God wanted me to do? And was I willing to commit to pursue those things and to develop? Or did I just want to walk? And so I started to evaluate these things, and I've been thinking about these things for a number of years. And I've created this YouTube channel because I want to share some of those things with you. Maybe it will be an encouragement to you that you are at a midpoint in your life and you're looking at the second part of your life wondering, what's it all going to be about? What am I able to accomplish during that time? It's interesting in our culture because a lot of people nowadays feel that when you're in your 40s and your 50s and your 60s that you're on the downward trend, your life is mostly over, that your best years are the years when you were in your 20s and your 30s. Then you had your strength and you had everything going for you. And I beg to disagree with that. I would say that I'm in my best years now. Why do I say that? Well, when I was younger, I had probably a little bit more energy, but I also didn't have a lot of wisdom. I didn't have a lot of experience. And now I've come to a place in my life where I think I still have some strength and some energy, but I have some wisdom. I've lived some of life. I'm a little more settled in my ways and the things that I do. I know what I like and I don't like. I know how to have an impact on people. And I began to realize that these are the best years of my life. The best years of my life are not behind me, but ahead of me. My wife and I, Janet, as we were going through this time, decided to read a book by Bruce Pippin. And that book is entitled The Best Is Yet to Be. And I thought, what a wonderful title for a book. As the book looked at the second half of life, the things that we could look forward to, and to have the attitude that the best is yet to be in our life. The best part of our life is not behind us, but the best part of my life is right now and in the future. I love that title so much that I even wrote it on a little chalkboard and I put it in our kitchen so that every day when I'm cooking dinner or I'm making coffee or what I'm doing, I'm looking at that chalkboard and I'm reminding myself the best is yet to be, the best of life that God has given us, the things that I can now enjoy with kids and grandkids and learning and all different aspects of my life that I'm just getting started in life. I'm not coasting, I'm not taking it easy, but I'm pressing forward. That title of the book, The Best Is Yet to Be, is taken from a poem by Robert Browning. And when I read that book and I was so encouraged to think about the second part of my life and what it could be, I decided I wanted to read the poem. And it's a very long poem. It has a lot of stanzas in it. But the first stanza I want to read to you by way of encouragement, to just begin to give you the vision as I'm trying to instill this vision in me of this second part of my life and how it can be the best part of my life if I'm a good steward and I make the most of the time. If I have the right attitude, if I have a vision for all that this part of my life could be. Let me read that first stanza for you. It says, "Grow old along with me, the best is yet to be, the last of life for which the first was made. Our times are in his hand, who saith, a whole I planted, youth shows but half. Trust God, see all, nor be afraid." I love that statement, the best is yet to be. He talks about the last of life for which the first was made. Think about that. The last of life for which the first was made. We had, if you're in your 40s or 50s or 60s, a first half of life in which you began to learn, you began to grow, you began to find out who you were and began to figure out life somewhat. All that, according to this poem in the first stanza, all that experience was preparing you for this part of life, the last of life for which the first is made. What a wonderful thing. I really believe this is the best time of my life because of the wisdom I have a little bit more of, the understanding, the relationships that I have that are deeper. This truly is, I believe, the best time of life. There's a verse in the Bible that goes along with this in Psalm 92, it's in verse 14. Let me read that to you too. "They still bear fruit in old age. They are ever full of sap and green." I thought, oh man, the psalmist is talking about the righteous there and how this end of life, this second part of life, we don't have to be getting frail and idle and just waiting to die. We can be bearing fruit in old age. We could be full of sap and green. And what a beautiful picture it is that we can have of the second part of life. To have the attitudes in our minds, in my mind, I want to cultivate, and maybe to encourage you to have this attitude that I can still bear fruit with the wisdom and the understanding and the time that I have. I am able to bear fruit in people's lives. I'm able to have an impact in other people's lives. I want to be ever full of sap and green in my life, in every area of my life. So as I look at this channel, I think about this channel, there's a myriad of issues that I need to look at that I want to share with you. From our physical health to our emotional health, our spiritual health, our relationships with others, our vision for the future, how to plan, your career, your future, all these things and many more I'm going to begin to look at as I look at them for myself and begin to evaluate that. And maybe that'll be an encouragement to you. So I want to invite you to join me on this channel. Most of the videos that I'll put in are 10 minutes and I'll be addressing all different kinds of topics. And I want to encourage you to be a part of this journey, that you're going to be taking your own journey. That people in the first half of their life get to do the second part of their life. So I want to encourage you to join me in this. You can leave your comments below. I also would ask you to subscribe to this channel. I'm going to continue to generate these ideas and thoughts to get us all thinking about the second part of life and how we can be just getting started and to have that expectation that the best is yet to be. So I encourage you to subscribe to the channel. As with all YouTube videos, give me the thumbs up. And I also want to ask you to share this video. You can take that link to share and text it or email to some other people, maybe that are in the second part of their life, to encourage them, or maybe even people in the first part of their life. Because I'll tell you, there's some people that are younger that act like they're in the second part of their life, that they just are kind of coasting and walking instead of running. So would you be part of this with me? And I look forward to talking to you more, to sharing with more, and discussing things. And remember, the best is yet to be.